Everyone thought Ana de Armas was living a Hollywood dream. But the truth was very different. Behind the cameras, behind the rumors, she learned something that shocked even her. This wasn't a breakup story. This was a wake-up call. What she discovered while being linked to Tom Cruise changed how she views love, fame, and walking away forever. Nobody expected Ana de Armas to finally speak, not directly, not loudly, but honestly. For a long time, her silence was louder than any statement. While the world waited for a dramatic interview or a bold headline, Ana chose something different: patience. For months, rumors had surrounded her name and Tom Cruise's. Entertainment news outlets chased every detail, turning small moments into big stories. Headlines screamed speculation. Social media exploded with theories. Fans analyzed every photo, every public appearance, every glance, and even every silence, searching for hidden meaning. The pressure to explain, deny, or confirm was constant, but Ana didn't rush to clarify anything. She didn't jump into interviews to defend herself, and she didn't try to control the narrative. She didn't chase the noise, because she understood something many people learn too late: not every story deserves a public explanation. Instead, when she finally reflected on that chapter of her life, she did so with calm confidence and emotional maturity. There was no drama in her words, no accusations, no attempts to rewrite the past. What she shared was something far more powerful: lessons. This wasn't about exposing secrets or revealing private details. It wasn't about confirming rumors or feeding curiosity. This was about growth, personal growth that happens quietly, away from cameras and headlines, in moments when no one is watching. Ana de Armas, known for her elegance and emotional depth on screen, had quietly gone through one of the most talked about phases of her personal life. Being connected to one of the biggest stars in the world brought attention she never asked for, and pressure few people truly understand. Yet through it all, she remained composed, choosing dignity over drama. When she finally spoke about what she learned, her message surprised many. It wasn't about fame. It wasn't about romance. And it certainly wasn't about headlines. It was about understanding herself on a deeper level, about recognizing her needs, her boundaries, and the importance of staying true to who she is, even when the world expects something else. She spoke about learning the value of peace over popularity, of emotional safety over public approval. She reflected on how some experiences enter our lives not to last forever, but to teach us something important about who we are and who we want to become. That honesty is what made everyone listen, because in a world full of noise, Ana's quiet truth felt real. Her story wasn't just another celebrity moment, it was a reminder that growth often happens in silence and strength doesn't always look loud. Sometimes, the most powerful thing a person can do is step back, reflect, and move forward with clarity. And that's exactly what Ana de Armas did. Being connected to Tom Cruise means living under a spotlight few people can truly imagine. He isn't just a movie star, he is a global phenomenon, a name recognized across generations and continents. Every move he makes becomes news, every public appearance is analyzed, and every relationship instantly turns into a topic of worldwide discussion. When Ana de Armas entered that world, she did so with grace, professionalism, and quiet confidence. She carried herself with elegance, never seeking attention, never feeding rumors. But even grace cannot erase the challenges that come with living beside someone whose life unfolds under constant public scrutiny. Very quickly, Ana learned that being connected to someone so famous often requires sacrificing something deeply personal: privacy. Moments that should have belonged only to two people were no longer private. Simple outings became photographed events. Ordinary conversations became imagined stories. Even silence, choosing not to speak, was interpreted, analyzed, and debated by strangers who felt entitled to answers. The pressure was relentless. There was no off switch. Every choice, every absence, every presence sparked speculation. And in that environment, Ana began to reflect on what it truly meant to be in a relationship while living in the public eye. According to people close to her, Ana realized something deeply important during this time, something that changed the way she viewed love and connection forever. Love should not feel like a performance. A real relationship should not require constant explanation, defense, or public approval. It should not feel like something being watched, judged, and scored by the world. Yet the constant attention made Ana question how much of herself she was giving away, not to a person, but to the audience observing from the outside. There was admiration and mutual respect, without question, but admiration alone cannot protect a relationship from the weight of constant exposure. Over time, Ana felt the emotional cost of always being seen, always being discussed, and rarely being understood. She began to understand that strength doesn't always look like endurance. Sometimes, strength is not about holding on at all cost. Sometimes, true strength means knowing when to step back, when to choose yourself over expectations, peace over pressure. For Ana, this realization marked a turning point. She started valuing quiet moments more than public validation. She understood that protecting her emotional well-being was not selfish, it was necessary. She didn't see stepping back as failure, but as an act of self-respect. In the end, Anna's experience taught her that love should feel safe, not staged. It should feel supportive, not suffocating. And above all, it should allow space for a person to remain whole, grounded, and true to themselves. By choosing peace over performance, Ana de Armas demonstrated a kind of strength that often goes unnoticed but leaves the deepest impact. The most powerful lesson Ana learned during this chapter of her life wasn't really about Tom Cruise at all, it was about boundaries. Boundaries she had never been forced to define so clearly before. Boundaries that quietly became the foundation of her personal growth. As she came to realize that no matter how successful, influential, or charming someone may be, a healthy relationship must still allow space for individuality. Love should never require a person to shrink themselves, silence their needs, or lose their identity. Emotional safety, personal freedom, and mutual understanding are not optional, they are essential. Ana is an actress who has always valued depth over surface-level connections. She is known for her love of quiet moments, emotional honesty, and meaningful experiences both on and off screen. During this phase of her life, she learned that her happiness depended on staying deeply connected to herself, not to the image others created, not to expectations, and not to living inside someone else's orbit. For the first time, she truly understood how easy it can be to slowly disappear inside a relationship that demands too much visibility and emotional compromise. She realized that admiration, no matter how genuine, is not the same as compatibility. Being impressed by someone does not automatically mean you are aligned with them emotionally, mentally, or spiritually. That understanding changed everything. And perhaps the most important lesson of all was this: walking away does not mean failure. In fact, sometimes it means clarity. It means recognizing when something no longer supports your growth. It means choosing long-term peace over short-term comfort. It means respecting yourself enough to say, "This no longer fits who I am becoming." This shift reshaped Anna's entire view of love. She no longer saw relationships as something to defend, prove, or explain to the world. She stopped measuring connection by intensity or public approval. Instead, she began valuing balance, emotional safety, and calm presence. She learned that real love doesn't demand constant attention. It doesn't require public validation. And it certainly doesn't come at the cost of inner peace. True connection feels grounding, not overwhelming. It feels supportive, not consuming. As a result, Ana became more selective, not closed off, but intentional. She chose privacy over performance, depth over drama, peace over pressure. And in doing so, she discovered a version of love that aligns with who she truly is. Her experience serves as a quiet reminder: the right relationship will never ask you to abandon yourself, and the courage to walk away can be the clearest sign of self-respect and growth. That lesson didn't just change how Ana loved, it changed how she lived. After this chapter of her life quietly closed, something noticeable changed in Ana de Armas. It wasn't loud or dramatic, but it was undeniable. There was a new calm in the way she carried herself, a sense of confidence that didn't seek attention, and a strength that didn't need validation. She appeared more grounded, more centered, more selective, not only in love, but in every area of her life. Instead of reacting to outside expectations, Ana began making choices that felt aligned with who she truly was becoming. Her decisions felt intentional, thoughtful, and deeply personal. With renewed focus, she poured her energy back into her career. She began choosing roles that reflected inner strength, independence, and emotional complexity. Her performances carried more depth, more honesty, and a maturity that could only come from real-life experience. Each role seemed to mirror a woman who knew herself better and wasn't afraid to show it. Off-screen, Ana became noticeably quieter. She shared less, spoke less, and protected more. She became more intentional about what parts of her life were public and what parts remained private. In a world that constantly demands access, she chose boundaries instead. The media, of course, wanted explanations. Interviews hinted for statements. Headlines searched for reactions. Fans wanted answers, closure, confirmation, something to satisfy their curiosity. But Ana chose growth over noise. She didn't deny her past or attempt to rewrite it. She simply refused to let it define her future. Rather than defending herself, she focused on evolving. Rather than explaining, she focused on living. When she did speak in interviews, her words carried clarity and maturity. She emphasized self-respect, emotional awareness, and the importance of recognizing when something no longer aligns with the person you are becoming. She spoke about listening to inner signals, trusting personal boundaries, and choosing peace over pressure. That message resonated far beyond Hollywood. Because at its core, Ana's story was never really about fame, headlines, or celebrity relationships. It was about something deeply human. It was about anyone who has ever loved deeply, invested fully, and then realized that love alone isn't always enough. Sometimes, growth requires distance. Sometimes, clarity comes after letting go. And sometimes, the strongest choice is not holding on but moving forward with honesty and self-respect. Ana de Armas didn't walk away from her past. She walked toward herself. And in doing so, she transformed not just her public image, but her inner world. That quiet transformation is what made her story powerful and why so many people saw themselves reflected in it. Without naming names or pointing fingers, Ana de Armas made one thing very clear: every relationship carries a lesson, if you are brave enough to listen to what it's trying to teach you. Not every connection enters our lives to stay forever. Some come to shape us, to challenge us, and to guide us toward a deeper understanding of ourselves. Through her experiences, Ana learned to trust her instincts. She realized that inner voice, the quiet feeling that speaks when something feels off, or when something feels right, is there for a reason. Ignoring it can lead to confusion, while listening to it brings clarity. That realization became one of her strongest anchors moving forward. She also learned the importance of protecting her peace. In a world filled with constant noise, opinions, and expectations, peace became something she valued more than approval. She understood that emotional well-being is not something you earn, it's something you must actively protect. And sometimes, protecting your peace means making difficult choices that others may not understand. Perhaps the most powerful lesson of all was learning that walking away can be an act of self-love. Society often teaches us that staying, enduring, and holding on are signs of strength. But Ana's journey revealed another truth: knowing when to leave can be just as brave. Choosing yourself doesn't mean you didn't care, it means you cared enough not to lose yourself. Her story reminds us that not every connection is meant to last forever. Some people enter our lives as teachers, not partners. They help us grow, show us what we want and what we don't, and prepare us for something better, something healthier, calmer, and more aligned with who we truly are becoming. These lessons aren't just for celebrities. They are universal. Anyone who has loved deeply, trusted fully, and then had to let go can recognize themselves in this story. It speaks to the courage it takes to choose growth over comfort and honesty over illusion. Today, Ana de Armas stands as a woman who values truth over headlines, growth over gossip, and self-respect over expectations. She no longer measures her life by public opinion or media narratives. Instead, she measures it by peace, purpose, and authenticity. And perhaps that is the most powerful lesson of all, that real strength isn't loud, dramatic, or performative. Sometimes, it's quiet. Sometimes, it's choosing yourself. And sometimes, it's walking forward with clarity, carrying the lessons, but leaving the weight behind. That is the story Ana leaves us with, not one of loss, but of becoming.